the funds, and there's like a bunch of loose ends we need to tie up. Other than that, I have these things on here from before: cow swap, instant boost improvements, and I think we could maybe at the end of the call spend some time discussing Giveth Pro and whether or not like if we're gonna do it or how we're gonna move forward. So yeah, those are the things I have here on the agenda today. I'm not distracted right now, but like things are starting to get loud in here, and I'm like, oh, maybe I have to move in order to run this call effectively. That's all. I'll pass it to Franco.
Intentions for the calls, just yeah, sink in, like listen, see what's going on with QF, how are things going, see, hear about the optimists and givebacks and streaming, and yeah, no distractions. And I'll pass it over to Mary Jeff.
Hey everybody, my intention for this call is to know more about our plan for give back and give power and optimism, and let know on which environment it can be tested. And I have no distraction, and I pass it to Cherik.
Thank you, Marisha. Hello, guys. My intention for the call is to talk about optimism, give backs, and give power, and also remaining QF issues. That's it. I pass it to Amin.
Thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone. Oh, Mitch, where are you? You're in the studio? My priority, my intention this week is to talk about optimism, give power, and I hope that it goes well on the front end side too. That we took some decision on the software, and I'm not distracted. I pass it to Franco.
Hello, everybody. I'm here just to help and be in the loop, mostly for OP, and also CoSwap. That's it. I'm passing it to Mohammed. Did you go?
No, thank you. Hey guys, I'm here to stay on the loop, and I have no distraction. I pass it to who's missing, to Mitch. Oh, you are you are busy. Let
That's
me.
right.
Okay.
It was a small bite. Well, my distraction, I'm in a basement with a bunch of vintage stereo equipment and Lauren's favorite poster. This is a new section of my parents' house that you've never seen before, so it's exciting. What I want to talk about today, any more blockers for optimism, give backs, give power, and anything that comes up around QF that I can just listen into. And I'll pass it to Griff.
Yeah, pretty much same intentions as Mitch. Just here to check in on what's going on at the QF. That's my main intention. Distraction, I'll probably just be working on closing DMs. And I'll throw it over to Steve.
Yeah, my intention just to sync up and see what's going on and see if I can draw any inspiration for some content. I think it's everyone, right?
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Okay, cool. Let's start with optimism, give backs, and give power. So, yeah, I was like just talking before the call with Cherik about this, and yeah, it's like I want to maybe just pass to you, Cherik, and let me know like if you need any more support, because we're talking about like, okay, your blockers for the front end, and it's like there's a lot of coordination around adding the new network.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. Actually, about the Optimism. We don't have any blocker, but we need to manage many things in the front end. For example, before this, I mean, in the past, we consider we have only 2 networks. So in all conditions, we check if it's on mainnet or NASIS and do related stuff for that. But no, we should change everywhere and check. For example, in giveback calculation, you should check. Okay, is it on the optimism or is it on the NASIS? And I think we need about 2 or 3 days full time to fix and check everywhere, and then we can start testing.
Okay. And you are on vacation tomorrow, right? So I think you don't have time the rest of the week.
Yes.
Is it helpful to, like, should we wait until next week until you're back, or would it make sense for today if you delegate a little bit to Ramin or Ali Reza or try to get other support? I'm not sure if we have bandwidth.
I can delegate to get to them, but actually they don't. They haven't worked ever in this part of the code, and maybe it's confusing for them, and they want to ask many questions. So, but I can delegate to them and try it. Yes.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Well, I'll leave the ball in your court, Cherik. If you want to delegate to Cherik or Ali Reza, and then they have questions and it takes more time until next week. Okay. I think it's nice if they actually get a little bit more familiar, so in the future it's not always just on your shoulders. So maybe it's like a good time to try this out. So then I guess we can expect that like by early next week we'll be able to start testing, or do you think even sooner?
Actually, my next week situation is not clear for me because I had to go to my grandpa's house and take care. So I don't know what happened next because he's on the hospital, and after he come back, I will take care of him. And I don't know about my next plan. If I can work. I think we need 2 or 3 days. But if I couldn't, I don't know. Maybe next week. Maybe we need 2 weeks for it, or it's totally depend on who want to do this part. For example, I mean Ramin or Al Reza. If they want to do this, maybe they can do it faster. Or I don't know.
Is there some way that I can help to try to like reach out to them or coordinate with them? Should we get them in the call right now?
Maybe. I think
Okay.
the difficult part of this delegation is about the code because it's really huge, and maybe it's hard to understand the code base just.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Who has time even this week?
Maybe Monique can help us.
I think Ali Reza and Ramin both have, good share for supporting the bugs and ops. Ali Reza is taking some issues. I think Ramin may find time. But Ali Reza also can.
Okay. Well, I'm messaging Ramin.
Ramin joined the meeting right now. Yeah.
Hey, great. Hey, Ramin, welcome to the GIVeconomy meeting. We're happy to have you.
Hey guys. Sorry, I joined late.
No, it's all good. So we're thinking, we have this optimism. We're trying to get give backs and give power to go out on optimism, or to happen on optimism as well as on Gnosis chain. And Cherik is going to be taking a few days off, and we're hoping that maybe you can work with him today to try to get a little bit familiar with what needs to be done, and then like maybe like pick this up from him.
Okay. Do you need this for today or tomorrow?
Well, I think Cherik is off tomorrow, so if you could work with him today to like figure out the problem. Basically, we added optimism Gorily to staging, and we have a unipool, so like staking rewards going out, and it's like affecting give power, and then also we're going to be distributing givebacks on optimism chain as well as on Gnosis chain. So there's these like two different parts, and there's like two separate contracts. There's the one that distributes givebacks in the give stream, and then there's one that like distributes staking rewards. So it's like we need to basically like have them connected to the UI on the front end, and like have all the switch networks, and then there's like all kinds of like weird nuances that we need to solve from the front end around like, okay, instead of a default Gnosis chain after it being mainnet, when you switch network, you have to check to see if it's optimism or Gnosis. So I think there's a lot of code that you might need to go through. And yeah, I don't know, maybe Cherik, is there anything else you want to explain?
I can describe more and explain more better. More code in another card. But if you want to know, the give back and the give stream is implemented, but we have many conditions in the code that we should check them and maybe fix them for I mean the handling 3 networks instead of 2 networks, because we only before this we only check the mainnet and Gnosis, and now we want to add the optimism. So if you have free time after the call, I really appreciate to have a call together and describe it to you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Perfect. Amazing. Cool. Thank you so much, Ramin and Cherik. So that's good. Optimism, give backs, and give power. So then hopefully, I mean, if that all goes well, it would be great if we could have this finished so that Mary Jaff could start testing next week sometime on staging. But you know, let's see how it goes. But yeah, great. Yeah, we'll also need, so I'm hoping that we can actually, I don't know, ideally, honestly, it would be great if we could launch this by August 8th. So it's like we have like kind of like next week for testing, and then at least we launch by the following week. Only because you know, we have all these incentives for give power going out, and now we're gonna need to split them between Gnosis chain and optimism, and like we have to like, you know, assign a new balance to the unipool on Gnosis chain and assign a balance to the unipool on optimism. I think like with the way that we've allocated tokens, if we could get it done by August 8th, it would be great. Like if we could get on production. And then so for Mitch, I know you were working on kind of like coordinating all of the bridging of tokens to the different places and the bridging of give to optimism. You're good with that so far, right? I think like I sent you the spreadsheet where it was like kind of distributing the tokens and like how much we're putting out for each period. Yeah, you're good. Okay, cool. And then I think the next thing we'll have to do is
somewhere. Was it in our DMs or was it a different one? Extend give power, incentives again on Gnosis chain.
I'm just putting it here in the chat.
Okay.
This is the spreadsheet that I was just working on. Basically, like this is how we set it all up. We're gonna distribute like, okay, of this 13 million allocation, we're gonna set up the notifier rewards like this. So yeah, I think we can bridge like 525,100 to optimism, assuming that we start rewards August 8th, and then we'll need to set up a notify reward bot on optimism. Right?
Okay. Probably an Amin thing.
Amin. Or Mohammed, I think, also knows how to do it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is the minimum that we need to start rewards on August 6th. August 8th. Sorry, I couldn't read that. And then, I mean, is it worthwhile just bridging over like a few million give and then not having to do it for a while?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think Griff, maybe I know you're distracted, but maybe you can start paying attention right now. We'll need to make another request for give tokens for give power. I think that we already used up all the give tokens that were allocated to give power in this first thing, so have to go through governance.
I don't understand. We used up all the. We have to make a new governance request for give tokens.
For the rewards from the give power staking. I think that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So we made a request way back when to request 13 million give tokens to go out for give power incentives. And we were saying, okay, 10% will go out on optimism whenever we launch optimism. So we're thinking we'll launch optimism August 8th, and then we'll only really be bridging 10% of the remaining rewards will be like 525,000 give tokens. Mitch is asking if we should just bridge like a couple million give tokens so we have extra on there for future incentives rounds. I guess that's
like your give power incentives, and then we'll also need some amount for give backs.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, we'll need exactly. We'll need some for give backs. I think what's important about this the spreadsheet you were showing was that the the allocate, like how much we allocate for give power rewards should be that amount, but we can bridge however many give tokens we want to anywhere we want for whatever reason we want. I mean, if we want to put it in the optimism thing, I don't see a problem there at all.
Yeah,
we could just bring over 5 million or more, or maybe more than that, and just hold it in the multi-sig.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And we can even put it in the distro, because we can always pull it out of the distro too, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. We could. Yes.
What's the story with givebacks? Because you know how we have a cap on the amount of givebacks that can go out on Gnosis chain? Are we like, whatever about that? Or is it like, okay, a maximum of 10% of the cap can go out on Optimism and the rest on Gnosis, or how are we doing it?
No, the cap is 1 million give tokens total per round. So whether that's on Optimism or Gnosis, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but like for budgeting for givebacks rounds, like I don't know. How much should Mitch bridge to Optimism?
Yeah, I like his 5 million. I don't think, I mean, right now we don't have huge donations happening on Optimism. So if someone donated 100K on Optimism, they could get 1 million give tokens, right? In one round. So if we start to see the distro, emptying of give tokens, then we just have to top it up, because things will go wrong if we don't always keep a balance of give tokens in the distro.
You're going to have some more spooky stuff, because when we're doing the distributions, you're going to be having to distribute it on 2 chains. So the current system isn't going to work, because right now it just takes everything and sends it all out on Gnosis chain.
Yeah, and we haven't even been distributing Optimism givebacks, right? Like we've just been cutting those out. So,
Yeah, we've just been holding on to them.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that we can keep the same system that we're doing, like right now, where we cut out Optimism, and then we just then make that a second distro, right? And we use a multi-sig to distribute it instead.
I have to think about how it's done, because we generate the thing, the send givebacks, and then we send it through there.
Yeah,
it's probably straightforward.
Yeah, I feel like the most important thing is that we just are capping the 1,000 before we figure out what chain the distro goes on, right? So, or capping the 1 million. So if like this round, for instance, Congratulations. There was like $50,000 in donations. Great job, guys. We did it. We're doing it. We actually have real donations flowing, and we'll distribute the full $1 million give. But first we'll have all the donations and figure out how much give goes to each address on each chain, and or on Gnosis, and then we'll take out the optimism stuff, right? So that we don't ever give out more than $1 million.
Yeah. And then we'll distribute the givebacks on optimism via multi-sig transaction.
Yeah, that's I mean, a multi-sig on
Optimism.
on optimism will control because right now the NR give DAO controls the distro, right?
Yeah.
And so now it'll just be a multi-sig on optimism that controls the distro.
If we ever start to get more like lots, like over 30 addresses per round, then we'll have to deploy a relayer that we were using before.
We will need that relayer for sure. I think we probably already have over 30 addresses in optimism from the QF round.
Otherwise, it's going to be really like tedious manual process that is really easy to mess up.
Then we should figure out the relayer because we'll need it already for this round.
Yeah. Okay, I'll make an issue for that as well. So that's something you can handle, Mitch, right?
Handle what?
Adding the relayer.
I think Pavle did that. I don't know. We have to go digging for that one.
Okay. So what can I do? I should ask
Make
Pablo.
GitHub issues, and then yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look at it.
Make a GitHub issue and bug Mitch.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Sem helped out with Pavle too. So I want to say it was Sem's relayer, isn't it?
No, Pavle did most of it, and Sem reviewed it. So yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
I bet you we can reach out to Pablo too. I'm sure he'll be happy to help.
yeah, totally. And if Pavle needs to put in real hours, we should pay him too. It's okay.
Yeah. Great. Okay, fun. So that sounds great for optimism, givebacks, and give power. There was one note here from last week about us having a technical debt about migrating the hosted service to the subgraph, and I wanted to just check to see if this is resolved or if there's something we need to do with this. I don't know if this is a meme.
Yeah. I mean, with Carlos, I think met yesterday, but I don't have any updates with.
No,
Subgraph
Carlos
is
was
to
busy
you.
yesterday. No, we haven't made progress on this. Carlos was busy yesterday with other stuff. I
Okay.
didn't talk. Carlos is here.
Yeah, I have time to meet this today, but I finish another issue for QF.
Okay, but this is something that we need to do in order before we can actually deploy optimism, give backs, and give power. I mean, it's like, can you help me understand a little bit more?
The issue is for subgraph on optimism still works well. The hosted service, the old service. Yeah, we have switched back to hosted service. But when we find time, we should investigate the problem with the studio.
Okay.
I think Kai said, in less than a month, the service will be discontinued, or it's not supported, event support.
Yeah, they say we should switch to a studio as soon as possible, or DevOps team should team up with us to solve this problem. If we cannot get what we want from studio, we maybe we need to deploy our own subgraph. On the front end side, are we still using the studio? Ramin Sharik?
Yeah, I remember we changed it to the studio.
Yeah.
But it's not merging. I have sent.
Is not. We are using we are using hosted service and Giveth.io on production.
Yes, I have sent a PR and it's waiting for review. I think I'm not sure Mariam has tested it or not, but the PR is ready.
Mariam tested it, and I think Sharik approved.
So we can go live if it has been
Sharik,
tested.
Sharik, did you review, or I was assuming that we do it on the front end before QF.
No, it's waiting for Mariam's test.
Mariam approved already. Am I right, Mariam?
Sorry, which feature?
The subgraph, feature branch. We tested all scenarios and told me that it's good enough to go.
Subgraph, yes, we did the test last week.
I posted the PR in the chat. Is it the same one? Because if it works, there is a good clue for us that we can use it on the backend side. And we must be able to use it unless some operation problem like rate limit or something like that happen for us. We should deploy it and we should use it in the backend and really test it and go for it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, surprised because I think that it's on production right now because we're supposed to use it in the production on the front end. However, I think it's work, but we did not test it on production yet. However, I think this branch, would you please paste the branch here that we can everyone be in the loop?
I sent it.
No, I mean the Vercel address.
You can find it in the conversation tab.
No conversation yet.
Here.
There
you go.
Yeah, this I think it's using the production data for this branch. So seems everything is going well. Correct me, guys, if I'm wrong.
Yes, you are right.
So what needs to be tested?
Merge have tested it, but I think after merge we can even test it one more time on the Giveth.io domain.
Okay. Okay, so we should merge the PR and then test on production.
Yeah, one more time, just review. It can be done with the same.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lauren. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like if we can coordinate and do that soon. Like if we're gonna merge to production and there's like a chance that we could have some issues, we should test it right away. Okay. Okay, cool. I want to move on to, we have some things around, just some small things around QF but yeah, is there anything else? So anything else for optimism, give backs, and give power that we should touch on? Okay.
I just have another point that want to recheck again with Mary-Jeff. Mary-Jeff, did you, I think at the early issue is still on UAT. Did you find a chance to review it?
Sorry, I don't know we talk about which
OP
issue.
Gurley, OP Gurley.
No. I
Okay.
didn't test it, yes.
Okay, great. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's great. I have good news. We got a 50K grant from Ether Classic. We still have to go through the KYC and all this stuff, but we do need to do everything that we're doing for Optimism also for Ether Classic. We don't have to do anything this week, okay? Or probably not next week, but we should keep that in mind and get started on it when we can. Because yeah, 50K baby, it's good money. Ether Classic is basically a ghost chain. Very few people use it, but it should be this. It should be super easy for integrating. But I think it starts with like maybe some kind of like research on making sure that it's all possible. And I don't know who wants to start looking into it. Like, you know, we have the mono, we'll need mono repo, we need all the same stuff. So I don't know.
Can you support subgraph and it's classic? I think this is a question that we can ask from Amin.
I don't know. I should check.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
And do they provide sign messages?
Yeah. That's a for sure.
And do we want all the givebacks and all the things that we had for the optimism?
Exactly, yes.
Got it. And we distribute the rewards on the Gnosis chain, or like optimism, we should distribute it on another chain?
We would want to distribute it on Ether Classic.
Got it.
But we can start with on Gnosis chain like we do for mainnet, instead of doing this. Well, I don't know. I think it's up to whoever wants to manage it on whether or not we do what we did with Optimism, where we just hold back the givebacks, or if we distribute them. I assume that it's whatever is easier. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
It's probably better,
Subgraph doesn't.
But I don't know. Sorry?
So if you are finished, the subgraph doesn't support Ethereum Classic, I'm afraid to say.
You're saying they don't support it?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, I put in the chat.
Would that stop us from? Well, you know, we must have had a conversation about that, because let me just check this graph.
Just for one thing, I'm not sure. I doubt now. Monique, why did you mention subgraph for supporting donation? Because we won't deploy any contract there.
But we would need it. We would need the
This is a
for claiming givebacks, right?
Yeah. If you want to pay by token distro, yeah, we need it. You're right.
But for accepting donations,
if they, want to distribute anything. Sorry, go ahead, Griff.
But for accepting donations, we can do.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Can we reconsider paying give back in other chains? Only we pay give back only on Gnosis. It will save us lots of time and energy.
No,
Yeah,
because
if you
I'll be honest, one of the big selling points for getting these grants is that people get a stream for the next several years on their chain. You know, we're getting these grants from the chains. And so the fact that the donor has to come back to their chain to collect their give tokens over the next several years is actually one of the major selling points for us.
yeah. If we want to do it if we want to do it, we can go for deploying subgraph ourselves, hosting subgraph ourselves. As I said, there is a solution that the DevOps team should make it happen. That for every chain they set up a Docker, a deployment of hosted service, and we ourselves do the management. It's not easy. It won't be easy. There will be lots of there will be some amount of work to do, like for deployment. It's currently deploying the new version of subgraph is easy for us. We are using the cloud service of the graph. But if you want to host it ourselves, DevOps team should set up a CI/CD for us to deploy the new instance of subgraph and lots of stuff. So if it's mandatory for us to support the new chain and we need even support chains without subgraph cloud support, we can go for it. We can deploy it ourselves.
Okay, and I will, you know, I feel like there is a plan to get the graph on there or something. So I guess I'll ask Bob and get back to you guys next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically for now, we don't need to do anything about this, and we'll just talk next week and then like actually kind of create the structure around how to execute.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. All right. Yeah, I want to talk about QF stuff as well. We have 20 minutes left in the call, so is it all right to move on? No complaints. Cool. Okay, yeah, let's see. So from the development standpoint, I wanted to check in quickly on the estimated matching improvements. Oops, I did the right issue, but improvements to estimated matching. Tony Stark, can you mute? I hear music going through your thanks. Amin, have you gotten a chance to take a look at adding the cap on donation on estimated matching to the back end? This issue.
Do you hear me?
I do now.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. You know, it needs to run a job in the backend. We should deploy the procedure. We should implement the procedure and have a job to be done on some constant intervals. For instance, every 5 minutes, we recompute it. It's needed to. It's needed. The only thing that in my mind is possible because the procedure, it's and we cannot write it in the SQL. It's not easy at all. Yeah.
Okay. But also you haven't had time this week, right? Because I think you don't have time this week and next week. Like if it's just kicking the can down the road, I hear what you're what you're saying, and
Yeah,
we just
you know, Cherik is blocked by me and Canon frontend. I should finish it. So the soonest time, the earliest time that we can do will be next week.
Yeah, okay. So let's just budget some time for this next week if we can. But yeah, we don't have to make it higher priority than Canon. If we don't have time to do it till next week, the round will be over. So we basically have until the next QF round to actually have it implemented. So we can deprioritize in that case. And like
Good.
FYI for planning.
Was it required for this one? I mean, did we have
No.
a project that gets more than 20% of the?
Yeah, I think we might have, but yeah, I think we might have. I'm not 100% sure. I think we can kind of like look a little bit at the data, but you know,
Mhm.
it was like it was a nice to have for this round. And if we don't make it, it's not like a big deal. Everybody knows it's an alpha round, and I don't think anyone has actually complained at all about estimated matching. So yeah, let's just deprioritize this, and then we can revisit when we're getting close to launching the next round. Okay, but something that is important for now, and like maybe I can just pass it to you, Carlos, because we were talking about this, is the data collection for Sybil analysis. Yeah, is there anything we need to discuss? I mean, I think we're like pretty squared. You're gonna try to like merge and then we can test it this week, right?
Yeah. I had to rewrite the exporting logic. It's done, and it's exporting the donations with the QF round and the score too. From the example you sent me, the only thing I don't have is the block timestamp. I should be able to fetch it, but it will be a little bit slow. So I'm not sure. I'm checking that last part.
Okay.
Since we have to get the information from the blockchain.
Okay.
Aside from that, yeah, the export is working. I could merge what I have, and then we can test it on staying, and I'll look into the timestamp part.
Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, and then because we'll need, I mentioned to you, we'll need this data basically like as soon as the round ends, the sooner we can get it, the better. If we could send it to them like cleaned up by August 2nd, then they can start already doing the analysis.
Okay.
Great. Okay, cool. And then the next thing I have is funds management stuff. So Griff, if you're distracted, pay attention. So I want to just check in on first, like Gnosis Builders. Did we get the funding from them already now?
Let me see if she responded to me. I think. No, she has not responded to me. So we have not gotten the funding from them yet. But I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, if you can like try to push that hard this week, it would be great to get the funding, you know, at least before the round ends. Otherwise, it's like starting to feel a little bit like, oh, you know, they get all the benefits of being a prime matching partner without sending us any funds. It doesn't seem fair. But we did get already is the proposal from Public Nouns already executed?
Yep,
And we already
we got that one. We have everybody else besides Gnosis Pay.
Okay. Okay, so craft pop. Yeah, when should we yeah, I think we should try to like at least swap all the funds for XDI, and maybe I'll just bug you, Mitch, and just put this in front of you again. Like XDI, could we get it in XDI? 11,500, because we're gonna be doing our 15% like on top of the matching pool amount. So 10K goes out to everybody, and then of the funds that we have, you know, we keep 1,000.
You need 11.5 because 1,000 for Giveth and 500 for Trusta Labs, or the other way around.
1,000 for Giveth, 500 for Trusta Labs. So the 1,000 for Giveth, we can even send to give.eth.
Mhm.
and then we can send the 500 from donation.eth to Trusta Labs later.
Okay, so we'll keep the 11.5 in donation.eth. In XDAI is fine. I think that's cool. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I know you're doing a lot of witchy magic with like bridging and moving everything around, so just want to get that in front of you. Basically, we should expect the Sybil analysis data back from Trusta Labs, like I think by August 10 or so. They were going to take like about a week. Yeah, about a week. I think they were going to send it to us like by the 11th. So the week of the 14th, we can actually distribute the matching funds. So that's kind of like our final deadline. August 14th, we definitely need it all in XDAI because we're going to be sending it out to people. Cool. And then so also then just like one last check on the final issue, this like post round. I haven't actually checked on the issue in a while, but we need to make sure that, yeah, here it is. In progress. Post round, show the actual matching funds sent to the project. Is this something we're going to be doing manually? Carlos?
Let me see. Post round, show the action. Well, we can, but I think we currently have the history, and we have a field also in the database that we could put this information there, but it's still not clear how we're gonna fill that information. Or we could use estimated matching from the history round, the history that we save.
No, I don't want to do it from the history that we save. I want to have it show up as a transaction, like as a donation, and have the actual number because it's going to be different from the estimated.
Okay.
If we need to take it like basically from a spreadsheet and manually input for the 46 projects, I don't think that that's too much work for now.
Yeah, I think that's the start.
Okay, so that's basically what we'll do. We'll just like basically after when we're ready to send the funds, I'll just like give you a spreadsheet with like the manual numbers and you'll input them.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Perfect. I think that's all I have majorly for QF. Then we have these like post MVP things, like notification center, shopping cart. Okay, so I mean, we have a couple of issues about adding notifications to the notification center. Like, I want to know, we're talking about doing a feature freeze on Giveth stuff. Like, how much resources should I be allocating to try to like do these like last improvements on QF, or should we just like the other thing I was considering is like after the round ends, I'd like to do a little bit of like user feedback, like maybe make a type form, try to get people to fill it out and get some information to then inform us like how we're going to improve. So yeah, I just want to get like some feedback regarding like how much I should continue trying to like improve QF just based on like what we kind of agreed to originally at this point, or how much of it I should wait until getting like some user feedback.
I think based on your working group proposal, we can allocate up to 10-20% of the team effort to the QF working group. But this notification center things are, it's very hard to implement. Maybe we can simulate it somehow with, sending some normal notification. I don't know. But as far as I got from the issues that you created before, I think that it takes more than one full time, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. because it's a little bit complicated. I remember it, I'm not sure. However, I think both works, if you have anything, I think the current issues even we have currently on our hands are improving, and the other stuff, it takes 20%, nearly 20% of the all team effort until the next round to decide which one is more important.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just like from the product manager standpoint, I'm like, so if notification center is going to take a lot of bandwidth when we don't really even know if that's what users want, like what is really the best approach for moving forward? Because there's not too many bugs coming up. I am getting multiple people filled out the feedback form like on our DApp and asked for a shopping cart feature. Shopping cart feature is a big thing to build though, so it's like I can okay, shopping cart feature would be nice to build and try to work out through the details of that and move that forward with QF because it's like a user requested thing, or I can work on these nuanced things do we still want to include Giveth Pro? Do we want to include things in the notification center, or
But my understanding is the card project was like a DApp issue. Like if you build it on a DApp, then you can have it everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. It would be a DApp thing, but it's like a DApp thing, and we would use it as well for QF.
Yeah. I think
And we need design things.
I think what you're saying, I think I've been thinking about this too, in general, just spending more time getting user feedback before we build more features, kind of full steam building features, and we still haven't been very good at doing feedback and research.
Yeah, and I feel like we pushed really hard to get QF out kind of earlier than originally planned. And I'm like, okay, what it is, people are using it, not complaining too much. Let's see what they say and then build those things instead of kind of going with what we kind of were initially humming and hawing around that we decided to cut from scope. So what I'm going to do then, okay, yeah, go ahead, Griff.
I just hope that we don't get caught up on doing what, doing a cart, for instance. We need to solve the problem, but we don't have to create the cart. We don't have to use the user's suggested solutions. We have to listen to the user's problems and figure out our own solutions. I don't know if a cart is a needed feature for us, because if you I think for most fundraising projects, they just want people to donate to theirs, and so then we're adding friction to every single donation. But the problem is that people need to know in the QF round what projects they've donated to, and so that's the problem to solve. Anyway, I think that user feedback is definitely the way to go, as opposed to just going steam ahead with the features that we cut from scope.
Yeah. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'll do a little bit of looking into how other organizations are getting user feedback, and then also just create some kind of form or outreachy type thing where we get people to give us their input and try to identify the problems before adding new features into QF. And we can kind of just call QF after this round, we call it done, we fix any bugs in our current processes and don't add anything new until we get more research. Okay, cool. And then so there's just two more things on here. Cow swap, I don't know, Mateo's not here. I don't know if we need to spend everybody's time on this. I just have it on the agenda.
I can just say that it looks really good. There's some small testing bugs that are being fixed, but it's moving and it's looking really good. I can send the link here.
Okay. So there's nothing we need to discuss though.
No, other than what does it take to get it? I think we just need to eventually get it on. The next step would be to, and I think Mateo can push it through, but to get it on the main website, DNS wise, giveth.io/swap. And if anyone has any feedback or issues, I just posted a link in the chat.
Can I say something, sir? During this time that we're testing, we figure out that when they change they do the hotfix, it causes some problems when we want to test. And I think doing this is not a big deal, but keeping this alive is is much more matter, because I think Matto needs to update the repo and the swap formula based on their hotfixes that they do in their main repo. And I think the recent problem that Mergev has detected already is related to the hotfixes that they made, maybe, or some changes, I don't know.
Yeah, that's very likely. We'll need to figure out how to. I mean, the main purpose of this is to get it so that we can get a grant or something, or get it merged to their. First goal would be to get it merged to their actual website. Second goal would be to, get a grant or something to fork it and maintain our own swaps. So, yeah, we hopefully won't have to maintain it for more than a few months before we can get to that state.
All right. Cool. Yeah, the last things I have here on the agenda are basically just like touching on instant boosting. Like this is another one I think instant boosting needs to be communicated a little bit better. And we had like one design improvement thing. I don't think it's a really like amazing solution. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's just like one issue about improving the performance of instant boosting, but right now it is working well on production, and like probably we need a little bit of design improvement so that it's like more understood to the user that like the rocket ship icon means that you can adjust the order. Yeah, so either user feedback, or I can try to like work with Mo and try to like get this like let's try to improve this way this communicated thing is move forward. But yeah, anyway, we only have 1 minute left, and I don't know if we're gonna like really solve that problem right now. So is there anything else that anybody needs to talk about before we end the call?
Yeah, I suddenly realized that even if the subgraph doesn't support main classic, we would change the front end to when the subgraph doesn't have information, we fetch it from the web tree. You know what I'm saying? For instance, the token distro information can be fetched by calling method on the contract, not just rely on the subgraph. So
that would be amazing, because we don't have to do give power or give farm or give it anything else. We just have to do the give backs.
yeah, probably the stream would be possible to implement with not much effort. We need some effort. We should design someone like Churik, who is familiar and experienced in coding. If I'm familiar with the process, experience in coding, should manage it cleanly, in a clean way. That if the subgraph doesn't have any information, of if the subgraph is not available, we only rely on the web3. But it adds more than usual development effort for supporting Web3, supporting Ethereum class.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So, but still we don't need to start managing this until like next week at least, right, Griff? Because you're still kind of closing things.
Yeah, I mean, until we get the Swiss membership, then we can't do KYC, and then so I don't think that we have any obligation to do anything for at least 2 weeks.
Okay. Cool. Well, great. We are 1 minute over time here. So I think we should end the call and let everyone go. There's an ETH Barcelona feedback meeting happening now. If you're at ETH Barcelona, you should join that. And if not, have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank